are joined by a special guest, Dave Edwards. He is the retired division head for OSU-OKC Agriculture Technology Division. And Dave, in your retired days, you like to do some projects. So we were going to build a bird feeder today.
Yes.
An industrial bird feeder.
Yes.
So what have we got here?
Well, these are some light fixtures that can be usually found at some of the places like Habitat for Humanity, the Restore, or other places where people cast off light fixtures. But they could be done with any small light fixture, even in a home remodel. But we're going to use these today as a good example, and these are pretty heavy duty, so they'll make a good material to use for a project like this. So we are going to take this apart, and each one of them is different, so we kind of make a guess on what's going to happen, but this one's pretty easy.
So you just remove all the hardware. And will we save any of this hardware?
We're going to save and use some of it, and some of it we'll just end up setting aside.
Okay.
So this gives us the most important part, is this dusty old globe right here. And the prismatics on it and everything just work great when we get this out in the sunlight and make it as a feeding station. This comes out, and this is the part that we don't need.
So we need to even actually take apart the light fixture there.
Yeah, we're going to set that out of the way.
Okay, but we're still using the screwed
So now we come to
this
this threaded sleeve, and we don't need that. So here are the parts that we're going to end up using again.
Okay.
Okay.
So then, if we wanted to change this from brass, could we do that? And will we do that now, or?
Right, outside with the sun reflecting off of this, it may be kind of bright and shiny. So cleaning this up and hitting it with an appropriate color of spray paint that would weather
just
well.
a metal spray paint to cover that.
Bronze, black, anything that would be appropriate for a neutral outdoor color.
Okay. So now we've got our glass fixture and the metal removed. So what do we need to do with this?
To have this do what we want to end up with a hanging ring on the outside and a hanging ring on the inside. So that's going to be where we change out the hardware. And this is what we want to end up with.
So your outside ring is actually came from the outside of the light fixture.
Right, when it was originally hanging, this and this is going to be the part that we see.
Okay.
But what we're adding is an eye bolt that, we can take that off later, is an eye bolt that will hang inside, and that will allow us to hook on the pan.
Okay.
So we're going to take this part of it. We're going to bring this up through the bottom of the globe. And Casey, if you'll put that over the top.
Okay. And we just
and
have
then put this, and I'm going to spin this nut just enough to where I get enough thread.
So you're allowing more of the screw bolt to come through.
Yeah, so I want to capture it with this, it's called an acorn nut. And I could do just a regular threaded nut, but it doesn't look as clean as having that capped like that. Okay, so with all of that made up, I want
and
that
you're tightening
acorn
it from
nut
both sides
to bottom out on the top. That's nice and snug. Now how does that feel?
It's holding.
Ready to hang.
It's ready to hang. So now we have our hook underneath there, and to that hook we're going to attach something that will actually hold the birdseed.
Got it. We're going to do a pan, and what I like to use is a Pyrex dish. Again, another thing that is real easy to come by. What we need to do is drill a hole in this glass and put another piece of hardware. Let me reach across here. We're going to do another piece of hardware that will allow us to hook this ring to that ring so that the feeder pan will hang free and give the birds easy access.
Now, you're using a pie pan here, and really any size pie pan would work, right? But you're typically looking for something that's proportionate to your shade.
Depending on the size of the shade, we want to kind of match this. So a large shade like this one would be best for, say a 9-inch pan like this one. If we were using a smaller fixture, then we would go down to a smaller size pie plate, and we would get the appropriate amount of cover. When this is all put together, this acts as much as a rain hood as a wind guard, and that's a good match.
Okay.
You're good to go.
Okay, excellent. So how do we drill a hole in glass? That's always the big question.
Okay, I will show you. The main thing in drilling glass is that, well, first we're going to use a diamond grit core bit.
Okay.
Just not any old twist bit drill that
So
you might have out in the garage.
Not something you drill wood and...
Not at all. This is a special bit for drilling in tile and glass, and it grinds the glass. It's more of an abrasive bit than it is a regular drill.
And where can they get this? Just at a box store or
Any of the
hardware stores have a diamond?
Have them. Yeah.
Okay.
But the main thing on using a diamond bit is, again, it's abrasive. So to keep this glass from getting too hot and cracking, we want to have this in a water bath. That's really convenient on this platter because I can put water in this tray and it's going to be contained. Here's one that I did earlier. And another thing for...
And it's really smooth. There's no cracks or anything. It didn't splinter, so...
Did a good job.
Yeah, you did. You know what you're doing.
Another thing about using glass, metal hardware in contact with the glass would be a problem for chipping, and if you tighten that up again, you don't want to crack the glass. So another thing that we add is a rubber washer.
Okay.
And we want to use a 3/8 inch eye bolt, and I think this one is 8 inches long. That's probably the longest one I've been able to find conveniently, but a longer one would be great. But this 8 inch will work just fine with the acorn nut. Whoops, let me put my
metal washer on there.
Put my washer on there, and then again I'm going to cap it with this acorn nut, which looks a little cleaner than just a regular nut on there. And then I'm going to use a socket to just hand tighten that, and then we're going to thread this up.
Now your eye bolt wasn't quite long enough, so you've reused the chain here.
Yeah, the same chain that was hanging the fixture. I pirated about 3 lengths of it, and that takes me just to the bottom of the rim of the globe. So that plus the length of my eye bolt here, and then we're going to use to connect these eyelet to eyelet. We're going to use a S clip. This is a carabiner clip, and I like to use the ones with the spring. I could do just the same thing with a traditional S hook. Okay, so we can use some of the link from the original chain. We can make it longer, shorter. We can bypass extra links if we have to. But we're going to try it on that first link, and let's go ahead and pick it up, Casey.
Okay.
And that gives us probably about 6 inches, but 6 to 8 inches would be about right for the fly in, and again, the weather protection.
So that space right there between the...
So all we need to do is have an extra chain or cable that we want to hang from the tree and fill it with bird seed, and we'll have some happy birds out in the yard.
Excellent. Well, we're looking forward to putting this out in the garden. Thank you so much,
Great.
Dave.
I really enjoyed it. This is a fun project.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.